Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I don't know how to introduce myself at this point. It's your boy, just Darcy. We used to the first words being, it's your boy, Tactics.
Yeah, I know. That's why when you said it, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going along with it." But then you got you like gave out
And then
halfway
I,
through
I
it.
tripped and I fumbled and it was bad. But,
Well, this is Big Geek Umar. How you doing, bro?
I am doing pretty good. It is just like a chill Friday, but life is busy, lots going on. So we just got to stay focused. So.
Yes, I am definitely feeling the Friday. Also, I hope all our viewers are happy that it's Friday. You guys all are all off work, and we just out here about to talk some geeky stuff, and we're glad that you all can join us for it. Because, yeah, we for a time, we have been, I guess you could say, I would say struggling for content, but because of the writer strike and actor strike. But let's just say that in this past week, we definitely had to pick and choose what we had to talk about because we got a lot to go in. So we might as well just jump in. P.S. Our boy Tactics will be joining us. He just ran a little behind off work, so he'll be jumping in and probably in a very flashy manner, as is very like him. Anyway, so shall we begin, Darce?
Oh, absolutely. Kick it off, Umar.
All right. So we are going to be discussing and reviewing the recently released trailer for Aquaman 2, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, this trailer dropped yesterday, and with a teaser that was sent out on Sunday being like, yo, guys, this is coming out. Not gonna lie, when that like, yo, man, this is coming out came out, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the trailer came out. And my reaction was like, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm going to be fair to this film, this movie has a lot working against it.
Oh yeah.
There are movies that are not good that are being like shoved into our faces that like people are just like desperately trying to make happen. This is like no one wanted it, but that was made clear after it was made. The whole Amber Heard thing and Johnny Depp stuff was happening while it was being filmed, so that didn't help.
No, that does not help.
No, and then the whole thing with the DCEU collapsing and being reformatted under James Gunn, which is good for us, but not for this film. And now everyone's like, well, is this still part of the DCEU? Is this part of the DCU? And then everyone's like, oh, no, it's definitely part of the DCU. And everyone's like, cool. Then James Gunn had to axe a couple scenes. We don't know which ones. Hopefully we will never know because don't think it matters at this point. And then also people have just generally stopped caring about anything DC movie related. I think as far back as Shazam 2. Black Adam 2. Black Adam 1, sorry. So Black Adam was the start of it.
Oh my gosh. Just the thought of Black Adam 2. The fact that you said that was that was a lot to take in, Umar. That was a lot.
That was a misstep on my part, but at the same time, if you told me they did it and that they're doing it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's the funny thought though. What if James Gunn gets things to a point and brings people back and finds a way, I'm not saying specifically Black Adam, but to even like bring The Rock in and actually make us like him into DC? Like if he could make us like him as Black Adam, that would be impressive. I'm not expecting it and I don't want it, but I'm just saying if he could do
That's
it.
like Kevin Feige early days of MCU level skill.
But I mean, we've not had somebody who people are like, no, we've already seen it, and then had to be like, no, let me give him a second chance. Let me just show you. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
actually, you're right. Pretty much everything of the except for Spider-Man, everything of the MCU was a first go.
Yeah.
Hold on. Captain America did have that really shitty movie back in the day.
The first one?
No. I mean like the 80s Captain America.
Oh, I'm not counting all that stuff, and I'm just since Kevin Feige, you said Kevin Feige, I'm just counting Kevin Feige up, okay?
Yeah, fair. But like, I will say that. Okay, so about the trailer itself, I like Jason Momoa. He's still not Arthur Curry for me. He's Jason Momoa as Aquaman, essentially. Which
he's Zack Snyder's vision, which was cool when we were under Zack Snyder's vision for like that aesthetic. But once you start pulling away from that aesthetic and keeping the characters, they start to dilute really quickly, right? Like regardless of how you feel about that aesthetic, at least he had an aesthetic. But now you just got these people who out here just kind of figuring out how to float. Wait, I went for that.
Yeah. I just basically going off that point. This film is like the trailer for this film truly shows that it is a direct sequel from the first one, which is understandable. Problem is exactly what you just said. The entire aesthetic has changed. Also, very likely, the character, like James Gunn is going to have to, well, actually, we don't know. But we're assuming James Gunn has to make Jason Momoa's version of Aquaman work or just get rid of him entirely.
Yeah. And I don't want that. You know what I want? I want Jason Momoa to stay. I don't want him as Aquaman. He needs to be Lobo. It's just perfect. He already is playing Lobo, just not hardcore enough. And I just feel like him playing Lobo is like just asking Jason Momoa to show up on set and have fun. And see, he already looked like Lobo. And now that we saw his Joker-esque in Fast X, we absolutely know he is Lobo. Because we know he has no problem pushing himself into a different sphere of like being that much extra. So it's just like I'm hoping that meeting came out with James Gunn where he was so excited is him just being like, Lobo, I just can't talk about it, so I'm just gonna keep pretending like it's Aquaman, but it's not really Aquaman. And I'm like, because that would be the dream for me.
I can't remember if Lobo is a character excuse me, is a character that breaks the fourth wall. But I kind of want them to do that. Like, yes, they're going to say, "Oh, Lobo is going to be the like DC's Deadpool." I don't care. He can do it. Like inherently, Lobo is a kind of parody of certain characters from Marvel anyway. So why not just like make it like a live action version where Lobo, who can take on someone like Superman, is a bounty hunter who is just fun to watch, and just let Jason Momoa do his thing. Now, I will say that I feel the women, you know what? I don't know. I was going to say that I would think that the women would be unhappy with seeing Jason Momoa all like white and black weirdness, alien version, and not like him just taking off his shirt and be happy. But I'm pretty sure if he was all like aliened up, or I should say painted up, and he still took off his shirt, no one would be upset.
No, I think you're overthinking it, because I honestly think that when he goes, Lobo is a biker, okay?
Yeah. I forgot about that part.
He's a biker in space, okay? And many of ladies have clichély run away from home with the biker to piss off the parents. It's already built in for some people, okay? He's just gonna show up, being himself, looking like a space biker, and it's just gonna be like, "Daddy, take me to the galaxy." Trust me, it'll work.
Fair. Fair. All right, so like, what did you think of the trailer, bro?
Oh, where do I start?
I'm excited for this.
It was okay. What's our actor's name on the left in this picture?
Patrick Wilson.
My feeling is his expression. Okay. That's it. It it is like the first teaser was like starts interesting, mostly when they're doing the text on screen, and the music, and then as you get further, you're like, oh, this is a CGI mess. Like, oh, this is feeling kind of bad. And then
Like the Flash bad.
yeah, and then this trailer comes, and I'm like, yeah, they ain't helping. I texted you my summary of the entire trailer in a mathematical equation. It is Black Adam plus the Flash equals Aquaman 2.
Facts. Those are facts. Like the Flash CGI mess meets Black Adam's story action mess. That is the trailer we saw.
And I can't blame, like, I like every time I complain about like the VFX are off, I'm not mad at the VFX and CGI people, because I know very well from like listening and watching a lot of YouTube on that side of the world, I just got really interested in the craft, that especially we knew this was going to happen the second like Amber Heard's trial rolled around. They were going to have to redo a lot of stuff, and they weren't going to be able to reshoot certain things, and there's going to be like, hey, can you CGI this out? And it will be literally to the full extent of, can you put a completely different person's head on a completely different person's body and make it work, right? Can you make Aquaman like this, that, and the other thing? Well, we don't have time. Like I bet you there's entire scenes with Aquaman, like as there normally would be, but like entire scenes where it's just like a CGI version of his body, which they would already have the asset, and then him going into a green screen room and just filming his face and them trying to make it work, which wouldn't be the way that they would actually do the underwater stuff. So there's gonna be so many times where his hair's gonna look super weird, it's gonna look really like blurry and stuff, because it's like, yeah, they're just literally trying to put it in. And what's super hard to deal with, a lot of hair in CGI, especially when you have someone with very long stringy type hair. And what makes that super harder, put that on someone's head while they're in water, which is super hard to do hair in water as a concept. Like, water is one of the hardest things in CGI to do. So this film's going to be rough, because yeah, we know it's going to be rough. Like, we knew that like, since Amber Heard's trial. This is not going to turn out well.
And the sad thing is, like, Patrick Wilson by no means is a bad actor. Jason Momoa, we all love. Nicole Kidman, clear, like for decades now, has proven she can act. Willem Dafoe is like, I ain't coming back, which I think everyone in this movie kind of is jealous of him at this point. Also, we have Yahya Abdul-Mateen finally being Black Manta front and center. And unfortunately, this is the movie he gets front and center as the main villain. And I'm like, bro, you could do so much better.
Yeah. I mean, I will say though, as far as Manta goes, he looks on point.
He looks like, dope.
He's the most accurate character in this whole thing, right? Which is a good statement. And honestly, I have to say, he's probably the number one thing I'm most interested about in this whole film. And the second most interesting thing is our boy from True Blood coming in. I'm just intrigued by the fact that he's here. Like, I'm like, wait, what's it? Oh, so he's his brother? Oh, is that a real character?
Like, wait, what?
In the trailer, the guy from True Blood, the Skarsgård brother, the older one, Alex Skarsgård. I saw him in the trailer. He was acting as Jason Momoa's brother.
That was Patrick Wilson.
Oh, I thought that was two actors. See how good this trailer was? Well, my number 2 is out the window. I thought it was Skarsgård. That's how bad the CGI is. I thought it was a completely different actor at one point. I thought, like, wow, we have two guys. We just making it interesting. Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, okay. So, yep. Yeah, I just lost a bunch of points on this film. Yeah.
Okay. Going back to something you were saying, Jason Momoa doesn't fit the traditional comic book version of what Aquaman's supposed to be. Oddly enough, Patrick Wilson does. So like if they could
Yeah.
have somehow, if they could have like I don't know, gotten Arthur to leave and let Orm take over and him pretending to be Arthur from now on or something like that. I mean, terrible idea. I'm literally coming up with it as like a makeshift idea. That would actually make a lot more sense. But another thing about this movie that is worrisome. Now, granted, this is just word of mouth, but like this film, the same people who are bragging about Batman v Superman and like Black Adam and The Flash are saying this movie is terrible and that they're trying to do reshoots.
Yeah.
And yet we getting it. So a part of me is really wondering just like how bad is this movie? And also if it is as bad as they say it is, or if it's not as bad as they say it is, I'm really interested to see what one day, hopefully, what Batgirl would have been like.
Interesting question. What are your top 3 worst DCU films? Because I'm just curious if this is like DCEU films, I should say. Because I'm like, will this take the cake?
Okay, hold on.
Like, what are we putting this up against? We're putting this up against Wonder Woman 84. Right?
Yep. Black Adam, obviously. Shazam,
Black Adam.
Fury of the Gods.
Haven't seen it. And The Flash.
Justice League, like the Whedon verse.
Oh. Whew. Okay. So, Wonder Woman 84, Justice League, and
BVS.
No, I enjoyed that way more. Not for me. I'm doing.
I know. I'm talking about my list.
Yeah,
we got a comment from Maybot. She says, "Just have him wake up from a dream into James Gunn's universe. That would make more sense." I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah, but it's lazy writing.
I mean, given what we've been getting, I don't think that's saying.
I don't want any of that. What we've been getting when James Gunn rolls around, I want all like as if that shit never happened. We don't gotta apologize for it. When we retcon it, we don't even acknowledge what we're retconning. We just move on. Okay, you know, we just treat it like season 2 of the Batwoman. I did not exist in my opinion. After I watched that first episode, I was out. Okay, I was out. But yeah, in terms of my list, I'm gonna have to go with Justice League, Wonder Woman 83, and
84.
84. Does that matter? And The Flash. Oh.
Interesting. I'm gonna say. Sorry. Hold up. Okay, my list is Justice League at the top, Suicide Squad after that, not the Suicide Squad, just Suicide Squad, and then right. Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, Suicide's going to be my third. That's going to replace. I was debating here between I like Black Adam more than I like The Flash, but The Flash had Michael Keaton, and that was literally my debate internally. It's like Michael Keaton, the entire movie of Black Adam, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, will this be worse than the Suicide Squad? You know, I might even put the Suicide Squad number 1. Suicide Squad, Justice League, 184. Yeah, that feels right. Yeah, that's correct. Because Suicide Squad was atrocious, not because of David Ayer, but because of what they did to it.
Oh, poor David Ayer.
Yeah, and like that was worse than what Joss Whedon did. And that's saying a lot.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Actually, that's a fair statement.
I have a feeling this will rise potentially to the third. It could beat Wonder Woman 84 at being the worst, but I don't think, and it could beat actually Justice League, but I don't think it could beat Suicide Squad being the number 1 but it could. It's a potential because it's like, as I keep talking, I'm thinking with Suicide Squad, you had a film and then decided to just screw it up, right? And but with this, you had a film and you had no choice but to screw it up. So it could be just as bad of an editing mess. It could just be like scenes just ending and just like, all right, we're moving on. Like it's like, wait, you're not gonna finish that sentence? No, we good.
Yeah.
It's implied. It's implied. You know how they say, show don't tell, right? You know, we're not gonna talk about it. And we're also not gonna show it either. Move on, next scene.
I think I'll take that statement and moving on. Jeez, I do love how you said that. All right, so our next topic is we are going to be reviewing.
Wow, that's crazy. I just missed the whole topic.
Oh man, perfect. Okay, we are going back. We're pulling it back, baby. We're pulling it
you
back.
better fucking pull it back.
That's right, because we got to hear this. Yo, T, welcome. We can't wait to hear this. T, what do you think of the Aquaman 2 trailer?
Oh, this movie's gonna suck. That's all I gotta say, man. That's all I gotta say. This movie is dead in the water. No pun intended. Yeah, pun intended. Actually.
You guys have been killing it with the puns this time.
Oh man, dead in the water is a perfect way of saying it,
Yeah. I have zero hope for this film. Sadly enough.
Why?
It just doesn't do anything for me, and DC might as well be changed to or stand for don't care, because that's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling, to be honest.
So what was it like? So like, it was just like generally the thing that wasn't you feeling, or just like because like Darcy came up with like a really
equation?
Good algorithm. Equation. Sorry.
Tax. Let me drop you my equation for how my entire summary for how I felt about this trailer. Okay. The Flash plus Black Adam equals Aquaman 2.
I agree. Agreed. 100% agree. Yeah.
Also, T, I'm going to ask you what Darcy asked me, which was a pretty good question.
Shoot.
Actually, it was a two-part question. First part, what would you say that your top 3 worst DCEU films are? And a follow-up, where do you think this movie's going to land on that?
That is a great question, bro. Wow. Let's see. Wonder Woman 1984 was some bullshit. I will never watch that movie again. I almost want to say Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Yeah, I just there's nothing in there for me to watch again. Not even the Batman moments is enough to save that movie. And that Joker was bullshit, even though Umar is fascinated by him.
Don't even, bro.
But...
You don't gotta get personal right now, man. We're on the same side right now. Come on.
And then for my final, let's see. Damn, that's
There's a lot to sift through. I know
there is like the thing. I can't even think of like any good ones really. Okay. No, wait. Justice League, the Joss Whedon version.
Same list. My list was Suicide, Justice League, 83, because I don't feel like calling it 84.
Yeah. That I'll never forgive Joss Whedon for what he did to Batman. And then every iteration of Batman in the DC universe followed suit. They watered him down in the Flash. Yeah. So those are my 3. In terms of where Aquaman is gonna land, it might be so bad it might not even make the list. It's just gonna be a distant memory. People are just gonna forget that.
Like film. 4 or 5. Sorry, 4.
Yeah. See what happens. See what happens when a bad film gets created. You didn't even remember, bro. But yes, Thor 4.
I'm surprised that Taika Waititi didn't just call it Thor 4 because it rhymes. It's like, we're already with the puns.
I'm gonna hurt you with this one, but do you know there's actual talk that he might be directing the 5th Thor?
Yes.
That's not gonna happen. Nah, that's not gonna happen.
You know what though? Here, I wonder if Chris will let that happen.
No.
Because it seemed like he wanted more meaningful work after that film. So either one or two things has to happen, unless Chris has just like changed his mind. After the health information he got is settled, and he's just kind of like come to a different place over a year or two. Unless that's happened, it might be like Tycho, you gotta show me a script and a team that I agree with,
Yeah.
or are we moving on?
Yeah. So you know how I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Chris Hemsworth who requested that they change the character of Thor after the previous first two movies came out.
Yeah.
Like he wanted something a little bit more.
He asked for something. He did, like, I wouldn't say he demanded, but he said, like, I need a change, otherwise I can't keep playing this role.
Yeah. So after that request, we got Thor Ragnarok.
Which Taika?
Right, which was fine. I liked Ragnarok, but then he took it a step further, and then we got Thor: Love and Thunder. And
hold up. You're forgetting a middle step that was perfect. In my opinion, was
yeah. Okay, yeah. Of course,
like the entire arc
100%.
of Infinity War and Endgame, where they're like, we're gonna take what you did in Ragnarok, but then we're gonna also bring it back to like where he lives, and then
but then it's like you flipped too hard, damn it. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
You know what though? The thing about Thor 5 is that if it happens, it's gonna be an absolute smash, because the Thor franchise has the first one, most people liked it. Second one, most people hated it. Third one, most people loved it. Fourth one, everyone hated it.
So it's a pattern.
It's odd numbers only. So just get to 5, have an epic, and just walk out. But I think if we were to do this though, because what was brilliant about Ragnarok set up a big problem, which was part of the larger story, and then the Infinity War and Infinity Saga was like just done really well from like a grounded level. I just think this last one needs like a grounded story for him to move on and move off of. Like I think Thor needs to end at this point, and then you just need to move into all new young Marvel stuff and just kind of let all the old stuff kind of pass on, at least not be in the spotlight. I'm not saying everyone needs to die or anything like that. Like characters can always come back in and out. Like it'd be cool to keep Thor alive, but he's just not accessible for a reason, and then one day you see him and he's just like an old man Thor or something, if that makes sense. I'm not saying it does. I'm saying just having him not accessible, and then you can have these characters come back in a wisdom like perspective. Maybe they have like one cool battle later on, and it's just kind of like, oh, that was super dope. I didn't see that coming. Like we haven't seen Chris in like 8 years. Like I would never have expected it, right? Stuff like that. Just something interesting, other than like whatever they're gonna do in Secret Wars, because obviously we're gonna get like apparently everybody. So
well, if they still do Secret Wars, it really does sound like everything in Marvel is like taking a massive halt, not just because of the writer strike, but because like the whole Jonathan Majors scare,
and the fact that everything sucked, like just crappy content.
But yeah, okay. All right. Moving on to our next topic, officially. So we are going to be the new animated series, My Adventures with Superman. We have discussed it. Actually, I don't think we have discussed it much. It's the first season of 10 episodes have been released. It's all out now for people to watch, and we are going to do a season 1 review. Now, Darcy and I have watched it fully, but Tactix has only watched the first 2 episodes and kind of dropped off because he wasn't really feeling it. So T, for the first 2 episodes, like, why is it something that it wasn't your cup of tea?
I don't know what it was about it. For me, it didn't have the same, for lack of a better word, like spunk that I'm used to from like that of like the old school Justice League. Even though I know, Umar, you're not a big fan of it after you've revisited it, but like for me, there was just something very nuanced about it in the sense of like it was refreshing. And this one is like, there is some nuance there, but I just don't like the direction that they're taking with a lot of the qualities that they're sharing with Superman. Like for one, like I don't like the whole what's the deal with the whole glowing suit and everything? Like that is a little weird to me. And then um the villains weren't really captivating to me at all. Like I wasn't really super attached to the villains. Granted, I only gave it 2 episodes, and my rule is to give it 3 episodes before I make a firm decision on whether or not I'm going to continue with a show or not. So I will end up watching the 3rd episode at some point, but there just wasn't enough there to drive me to really continue when I have other really good shows that are on my list of things to watch. So
not to like, I will say, given if those are the things that you weren't a fan of, I don't think the 3rd episode is going to suddenly give you a brand new perspective.
Fair enough.
But I do hope you do give the show a chance. And Darcy, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to jump in with my review.
No, I absolutely am pissed off about it. I'm kidding.
I apologize. Please forgive me one day. I will say that from my perspective, I don't find your criticisms inaccurate. Like all the way from the beginning to the end, I wasn't feeling the villains.
Mm-hmm.
The super stuff was cool. It was cool. But I did feel a lot of it, both in a positive sense and also in a negative sense. It was a little too much shonen anime style thrown in with like Western animation storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
which felt kind of weird combination. However, I found the characterization of Clark Superman to be really well done. And I loved his relationship with both Lois, and they're growing like a romantic relationship, and their dynamic with Jimmy Olsen and his story, like his character arc in the group. That is for me where the greatness of the show came out. I will say that at first, and I think I will agree with you, the first 2 episodes, it was jarring, where the lack of original Superman storytelling in terms of his origins really threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way they've done his origins is completely different in this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole like he goes into some bunker and he finds like his spaceship and all. It was just so strange. I was like, this doesn't feel like Superman at all.
Yeah, that doesn't, dude. Honestly, by the time you get to the final episode, that doesn't change, because I'm still guessing what his origins are, because they're definitely not going normal. They're not going traditional. And at first, I actually kind of like the idea that they showed him that like after he becomes Superman, that's when he starts learning about himself, as opposed to learning about himself and then becoming Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is like, they've taken it at a whole different level, and I'm just like, I actually don't know where they're going with this. So that I found interesting. But at the same time, I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Interesting.
How about you, Darcy? What do you think?
Yeah, it's not a perfect show, but I really enjoyed it. The villains, they lack. It feels very, even though this is like shonen, at the same time it feels like shonen cross with Young Justice, and at times I'm like can't tell which one of the two I'm on. It doesn't really bother me that much. Like I enjoy it. The relationships amongst characters is really good. I'm really liking this completely different origin so far, in that I don't know what it is, but it for me looks like, unless they fail at this execution, but I don't think that they will, because they do so good with relationships amongst the characters.
Yeah.
They're setting up for very hard decisions. And the thing I'm liking about the show is that it's doing a lot and setting up a lot for, yes, Superman has to fight super villains, but the show is about the introspective problem of being a man who is super, not a Superman. And which is very true to anime, that the most powerful villain may have the biggest challenge in that they have to face themselves. right? Like if we think of something like Full Metal Alchemist, right? They were very powerful in that they were extremely well talented for being very young. And their biggest problem was literally the consequence of their own decision trying to
Yes.
rectify it and coming to a like a sacrifice by the end of the whole thing, right? And like the real battle was so internal, right? Even
Yeah.
though they were battling externally all kinds of villains, that it was a battle for self. And so they're really doing a bunch of that in this show. I'm trying not to like spoil for Tactix over here, but like the mystery and his disconnect from understanding what his origin is, he still doesn't know. And I'm trying to figure out how to word this, but the real big bad power villain that they're setting up for the next season is a way better way of doing what CW has been trying to do. CW has been doing all these cheap, like, well, who's Superman gonna fight? Superman, right? It's like literally like he has a brother and they're in equal power, so Superman fights him. Okay, well then Superman fights a reverse version of himself. Okay, then Superman fights the reverse version of himself turned into Doomsday, which is honestly so far the best one. but but their fundamental idea is all they can face Superman with is something of equal power or to take away his power, and then how does he overcome that when everybody else has the power that he has? Where with this, and without saying exactly what it is, what those powers are that look to be equal to him, though we're not fully certain of that, it makes so much more logical sense, and what it represents isn't a fight of and just fighting another Superman because it's the only thing he can fight. It's going to be the dilemma of himself and his own decisions and defining himself in the midst of what this power that he's going to have to face represents in who he is. It's like I'm going to try to no, I can't make that reference. It's too close. I don't want to spoil for Tactix if he wants to continue to watch the show. But
Appreciate it.
it's the as he learns about his origins are not going to be ideal, and it's going to make a lot of interesting problems for him, and that really is intriguing and is keeping my attention. And so I'm excited to see where the next season goes. And yeah, I'm excited. Like, I'm not saying like this is the best show and like, you know, it's peak. No, but it's really enjoyable and it's got really good legs. And if they keep this up and they keep building on it, like it could turn out like season 2, season 3, and it might be one of those shows where it's like, no, it's a little slow for you, but once they get into it, once that story builds, it's like you needed that first season, and it didn't seem like you needed it as much as you did. It needed to be that way to set everything up. So that's what my hope is, and so far it's really good.
Oh, Maybot just lost me with the whole Totally Spies reference. I'm all the way lost on that.
What do you like? You don't know what that means?
No, she's like, it was more Totally Spies than animated. Totally Spies is a show.
I actually don't know what that reference is.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Umar. You were gonna say something, but go ahead. Say. No, I was just gonna say. First and foremost, great interpretation there, Darcy. I really like what you said about the show. It does pique my interest a little bit more to hear your insight. But Umar, you sent me a TikTok recently about it was a comic book panel of Superman, and so that really touched me in a way where it was like, now I finally get your contention when it comes to a lot of these like representations of Superman, or rather a false representation of the essence of Superman, in the sense that they don't really capture who Superman is down to its core. And now I see it. Like when you show me these panels of like the relationship he has, not as Superman, but as like Darcy put, like a man with superpowers, right? Like a man who is super, and the relationship that he had, or the issues that he struggles with not only keeping his secret, but also, you know, representing what it means to be a man of
Infinite power.
not just that, but like integrity. You know what I mean? And like be that wholesome essence. And like I don't think we've truly got that in any representations of Superman in be that in movies or in TV shows. Like I know, say what you will about Smallville, there are some episodes that have that I can recall. Like there was like a one where like a kid had cancer, and it kind of reminded me of the panel that you showed me. And if you haven't sent it to Darcy, then definitely send it to it. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, that was just like, it had nothing to do with his powers at all, just him maintaining his secret. And that was just such a wholesome moment. And that to me is what truly represents Superman and makes him interesting. It's not the fact that he has all of these like overwhelming abilities and stuff like that. It's the fact that he has all these overwhelming abilities, and yet he could be the most egotistical person. He has every reason to be like a Lex Luthor, for example. A Lex Luthor, which is an interesting parallel because he's the one who's like striving to become a man of power and is envious of Superman because of the fact that he has these abilities. But look at what Superman is choosing to do with it, right? It's like his weakness is his humanity, but it's also his biggest strength in the sense that like he's just trying to live the life of a man of integrity, and that's what makes him so interesting. And like that's what I want to see more of in these movies now. So when I look back at like Man of Steel, which I still enjoy for what it was, but like didn't really capture that in the way that Superman is often depicted in the comic books. And like I want to see that more in the shows too, right? So
like this, it's funny that you should say this. I'm glad you did, because I was going to go down this route. And just for people to know, the TikTok video I sent to Darcy and Tactix had to do about when Clark was still living in Smallville, and in this version, his friend Pete actually had cancer and passed away, and Clark was aware of it, but didn't want to make Pete, like, because Pete was the only one who actually didn't make him feel like he was alone. And then Pete got cancer, and he could smell it, he could hear it, he could see it, but he didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to make Pete feel bad. And then Pete passes away, and he sends him a letter saying, "Hey, I knew you were special. I knew you had powers. I just wanted you to come to me whenever you felt ready. But like, that doesn't mean you got to stop. Like, just keep being who you are." And Clark took that and took it as like, I'm going to be a hero as a result of it. Mm-hmm. So what I love about My Adventures with Superman is that is the point of, like, My Adventures with Superman is among the best interpretations of Superman I've seen on screen.
Okay.
Because we get that with Tyler Hoechlin to some degree, but we also have to deal with the CW shit. We got that with Christopher Reeve. I'm just going to leave it right there. But like, these are two examples over a very vast amount of time. Like, even with Superman, the animated series, it never quite got to that level. With Justice League, they kind of went about it a different way. Like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited kind of said, it's like, okay, what if Superman sees how bad he can get, refuses to go that far, but at the same time, he's still kind of like, I wouldn't say a military leader, but like he's a leader of a force. So he still has to have some level of like operational capabilities and also like rules on that front. But this show focuses on him, and kind of like what Darcy is saying, it's like he is trying to grapple with the reality, the morality of him being this powerful, and also like the secret of his origins, which is kind of like an overarching deal. And like there's a moment where he just says to someone, he's like, I just want to help people. And it's almost like it's not even like, you could make a joke and say, oh honey, but like it's more kind of like, dude, it's not, the world's not that simple. Like, you can't do that. And it's like, whoa.
You know something that's really good about this? I'm going to make a reference. this show had an episode that, and it's in every episode, but there's one episode where that really stands out to me that reminds me of a really good thing that you commonly see in a lot of depictions of Peter Parker Spider-Man, in that Peter Parker will do a lot of help, but he makes mistakes, and especially like early on, and he fumbles a lot, and especially like you get a lot of depictions of Spider-Man overworking himself, and because this guy wants to help and his powers are coming in new, there's a big part of one episode where he gets one of his new powers and he overworks himself, and it's really interesting to watch, and you can also tell like as his powers are developing, he's still very underpowered, so he's still coming up because there's stuff throughout the show that like that people have power over him. You're like, they shouldn't have power, but like you very can well tell that like he's still building up, he's still getting stronger, right, as things are progressing. And one of the things that you know with strength is that you can have a lot more strength than you're aware of until you're given a moment to push yourself. You don't really actually know how far your limits are, and he doesn't know what his limits are. So sometimes I think he honestly is allowing himself to be taken out when he doesn't know that he's allowing it to happen, because he doesn't know that he's stronger than he actually is, because this is his first time being faced with, you know, a heavy object to push, and it's like, oh well, I didn't know I could push that much. I didn't know I could push this much. I've never tried to push a skyscraper before. Like, you know, like, so how would I know I could do it, you know? And so you would assume you can't until given a situation where you just have to, and then he finds out what he can do. So there's a lot of stuff like that that's in the show that, yeah, like Umar is saying, it's not about the villains in this season at all. It's about what everything else around him represents and what decisions he has to make because of it, and what mistakes he's constantly making.
Also, another thing about this series that I will say I don't think I've ever really felt in other iterations. Like, as much as I love 1978 Superman, I didn't really get the whole relationship between Lois and Superman, or Clark and Superman, and Clark and Lois. Like Lois and Clark with like Terry Hatcher, like everyone had a crush on Terry Hatcher, so we knew there was a reason why Clark was interested, but like we never really got like the interest other way around. Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch, they're a cute married couple, but like the romance is kind of like, let's keep the marriage alive sort of thing. It's less to do with like them together.
Sorry, that was so. Let's keep it going. It's like, welcome to the adventures of Superman and Lois, where the relationship's on the way out. We just try to spice it up. Hey baby, want to do dominatrix and Belize?
Yo, you joke, but that happened in the comics recently.
Oh my goodness! Like, how did I choose that exactly?
Because it's hilarious that because it's almost identical. Like their son walks into their bedroom to get like something for his mom, and opens up and sees like a slave outfit that Superman came home with, and they kept.
I rate that. That's
just. Wash my eyes.
Yeah, he couldn't stop seeing it even when she closed the door.
No, you can't stop seeing those things. I mean, especially if you have super vision. By the way, before we get too far away from it, Chris in the comments had a really good statement. He said, "My adventure with Superman is probably the best modern adaptation of the character. Hopefully, James Gunn takes notes for Superman Legacy."
Yeah. Also, Chris was also saying if they were to adapt Superman versus the Elite into a live-action movie, which they've already done for animated, into a live-action movie, that would be a great story to examine Superman's morals and integrity. And also, May was saying that she likes the anime-inspired fight scenes. It's not anime, but she had fun watching the first 4 episodes because that's all she's watched so far. And she doesn't agree that it's weird for her, but because she felt that it made it work. But going back to
same. I'm with you, girl. I'm same.
Yeah. The point that I was making is that with this, and this is also something that Maybot has said, this series, for the first time ever in me watching a Lois and Clark relationship, I have actually cared and am rooting for their relationship. the way it started, the way it ended, the way it, like the ups and downs that happened in between of it, I fucking loved it. I was there for all of it, and I was surprised that I was as into it as I was, because I'm like, this is like, for example, like when Wolverine is going after Jean Grey, I digging it. Like when Batman and Catwoman are playing their dance, I'm down for that. I'm also down for when Batman's going after Ra's al Ghul's daughter. But and like I'm trying to think if there's anything other couples that I'm a big fan of. But like nonetheless, watching these two in this show, I'm like, yeah, that's right. You guys deserve to be together. Also, Jimmy, I was really, really worried about is like, yes, they made Jimmy an ethnic minority, and also the fact that like Lois is also an ethnic minority, awesome. But I was like, please don't make him black and then do nothing with his character.
He's awesome.
He is fucking awesome. I'm like, Jimmy earned his place in this trio.
Yeah, he's
and they're all equals. Like they have their own thing. Like she's the crazy investigating journalist who wants to like find out the secrets. He's like, I want to be the photographer. I want to capture everything, but I also want to like document everything. And Clark is like, I want to find about corruption. I want to like keep investigating people who think they're better than everybody, and the human stories. It all is done really well, and they also get their own mentors at the Daily Bugle, which they also don't want. They're like, oh, this is bullshit, but at the same time, they're like, yeah, all right.
Also, Jimmy has the best mic drop moment at the end of the season.
Dude,
it's so good.
I did not see that coming. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're just gonna end the season like that? Like that was awesome. That was so good.
And he was literally the last scene.
The last scene, the last line, it's just like I just love it because it's like what's her name? Like Martha's just like, so oh yeah, you had something you wanted to tell us? It just says like the most outlandish possible thing. And you're like, wait, what?
And T, just for context, like Jimmy has literally witnessed shit go down, like Superman level shit go down. So like when they're like, oh hey, like when Ma and Pa Kent, who are awesome in this, by the way, I love Ma Kent so much when she's going up against Lois's dad. Oh, so that was dope. But
that whole like everybody had to keep going around and talking to each other thing when Jimmy showed up, and he so everyone's like dealing and they're not like interacting very well with each other, and then Jimmy shows up late, and then everyone pulls him into a room to be like, okay, this is what's going on. I don't like this person. Can you?
It was sitcom level.
It was so ridiculous. It was awesome.
But like yeah, so like anyway, so like all this stuff happens. All this shit like with Superman stuff happens, and then at the very, very end, Ma's like, "Hey, so like Jimmy, what do you have to say?" And he says something that ordinarily you would think if like a guy after all this, he'd be like, "Yo, I got nothing to say compared to what just happened." He said something, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And that's how the season ends. And I was like,
"Yeah." Yeah, which also is going to make his character very interesting in the next season, or he's going to be the exact same and not change in any particular way, and that'll just be also super cool.
Yeah. And yes, Maybot, you definitely should hurry up and watch it. And yes, we love Jimmy also. Jimmy Olsen, sorry. T, again, I'm not going to be like pushing you to watch this, but I will say that if you look at it from a characterization perspective and less about like an action adventure, you would probably enjoy this show a lot more.
Well, it's not, like I said, it's not so much the action that I'm seeking at this point with Superman, because while it was cool to see that in Man of Steel, like I said, I'm on board with you now in the sense of I want to see something more of substance when it comes to Superman, more so with Clark and his relationship with dealing with him as a man of integrity, like I said, right? So if they can kind of hone it more so on that, and this is kind of the reason why I think we've all across the board really enjoyed at least the first season of Superman and Lois, because it kind of it's less to do with the action and more to deal with the relationship between him and Lois and the people, right? So having that fleshed out a little bit more is an interesting take to the overall storyline, and so that's what I'm more so interested in, right? So
then I think, given this new perspective, your perspective might have already changed in favor of the show.
I mean, you guys talk a big game in regards to this show, so now I'm heavily curious about it now.
Okay.
And my track record's pretty solid, so
this is true. This is very true. You have not disappointed yet, so yeah.
What did I do?
I didn't say that you disappointed. I'm just saying that in terms of what Darcy has recommended, I mean, he's been on point. I mean, you've been on point too, Umar. I don't.
Thank you.
You know,
That's all I'm saying. Like, there was an inference there that I was like, wait, what did I do? But okay, moving on to our next topic. Now, this is going to be this one I'm going to hand to Darcy because this is Darcy's baby. So, Darcy, how about you introduce this one?
all right. So, I have been a lover and a big fan of a show, small thing, not very big, called One Piece. Currently in the anime 1,075 episodes as like this
gosh
week.
damn.
Oh my god.
Currently I'm on 635 myself.
Damn.
And so yeah. And so I have been a big fan. And the live action came out not that long ago. Maybe people have heard of it. It's only broken like all the records for like, you know, #1 show on like Netflix. I think it was #1 show on Netflix. Definitely #1 at live action anime there ever was.
Yeah.
You know, one of the most expensive probably shows that Netflix has ever done. And actually ended up being beloved by the audience. And so
$138 million budget for the first season.
Yeah. Now, I really enjoyed it. It's not without its flaws. What happens when you condense a few hundred episodes into 8? You know, certain things are rushed, especially when you know the source material. But I really enjoyed it because more than anything, it understood the core of the story, understood the core of the characters, and those... And it came because the author was the one who did it. So now the both of you have, if I understand correctly, have had a chance to fully complete the first season, and I am waiting to find out. No,
I'm halfway through the first season.
Umar is only so they're both only halfway through. So I don't know what kind of review this is going to be.
This was meant to be a continuing review, not an overall one.
Okay, well I didn't know that until this very moment. But,
my apologies.
But what I am interested to find out is if you guys enjoyed this or if our friendship's going to be over. I don't know. Let's find out.
Low stakes then. Low stakes.
As low as this film had. No, how have you guys enjoyed so far?
Yo, I'll be real, man. This is a weird ass show, but I like it, man. I'm digging it. So here's the thing. I'm not.
By the way, before you move on,
yeah,
that is the way you would still describe the anime. It is a weird ass show that you fall in love with.
I can, because as I was watching it, I'm like, yo, if this is the live action version, I don't even want to imagine what the anime is actually
I
like.
had the same thought.
It is weird as hell. I'm just like pirates, snail phones, like fish people. What the hell is going on?
The snail phones is one of my favorite things of the show because it does not Oda does not want to take anything too serious. It's not like Naruto where it's like melodramatic all the goddamn time. Like the snail phones, like the like when they hang up and they're like their eyes go down. I fucking love it. Till this day, 600 episodes in, and I saw something the other day and I was like, hey, yeah, it's so good.
Hold up, T. So how many episodes have you fully watched?
So where I left off was they made it to the restaurant where they meet the
Sanji,
the cook guy.
Yeah. Sanji.
Oh shit, you're ahead of me then.
Oh, okay. So then I won't say much else.
So you watched the first 5 episodes, I'm assuming then.
Yeah, I haven't been counting the episodes. I just kind of like let it play and then just
Okay. All right, so just to let you know, I've watched the first 4 episodes. The last thing I saw was that the old Marine guy starts shooting at them. Garb, sorry, and Luffy's like, "Grandpa?" Spoiler warning.
Yeah, I mean, not for me, but yeah. By the way, Maba is in the comment saying Khan's not my Garp. I will agree with you. Of all the characters, that nothing wrong with the actor, but the Navy's admirals are all like really fucking big, and he's not a big man, so it just pulls me out. But anyways, you guys go on. Tactics.
What I will agree with, and it's a comment that you made, Darcy. The first time we were talking about this, because you had a head start on watching the show, some of the design in terms of like the attire that they wear does come off very cosplay-y, so it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But that aside, the action.
Have you seen the cat
really...
people? Have you seen the guys with the cat outfits yet?
No, we haven't seen that yet.
Nothing. Oh yeah, you guys haven't met Usopp yet, have you?
Usopp.
Yes, we have.
The black guy, right?
Yeah, so you've met Usopp.
Yeah.
He just joined the crew for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The cat outfits?
At first I was like, are they vampires? Like what's because they kept hissing. I was like, wait, what?
I thought they were vampires.
Yeah, I was like,
no,
they're vampires, but then like the sun hit them and they were okay. They're cat people?
They have like these powers. It's like cats or something. If I'm remembering correctly, maybe I'll correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been many hundred episodes since I saw those scenes. But like those outfits, when they came on screen, I was just like, I gotta wait for this fight to be over, because like these outfits are not doing it.
Yo, I legit thought they were vampires, bro.
I thought they were vampires too.
Yeah, but I was like, what a waste. They're not even doing anything with that.
That's why they didn't do anything, because they're not vampires.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes more sense. I was like, cat people, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
They're like fast, and they have like sharp nails, and that's why like they're similar powered to the main boss.
That's why he was fast.
Yeah, well, he's not a cat. He just has like his fruit power just like allows him to be that way. But they just kind of mimic. Like they're more like understudies, and that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah. It kind of, this might be a weird reference, but this is kind of just where my head went as I was watching the show. So certain elements of it remind me of Pokemon, not for the monster aspect, but more so for the motivation of Luffy, where it's like, I'm going to be the best pirate or the king of the pirates, whereas like Ash was like, oh, I want to catch them all kind of thing. So it was like, that was a reference.
Naruto. Like, I want to be Hokage.
Yeah, that'd be I guess a more accurate. But just in terms of his personality, well, yeah, I guess they're all similar personalities. So it's like a common trope amongst those guys.
It's a bit of an archetype, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other, I forgot the other reference. Oh, for some reason it kept reminding me of Avatar in some weird way, like especially with the whole grandpa thing. Yeah, it just gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes in regards to what's his name? The guy with the scar, the Prince Zuko, and his grandfather, and how they were like on a mission to
Okay.
So, and what were you relating that back to in One Piece? I missed that part. Like what One Piece reminds you of that?
So in terms of Luffy being related to the general guy, and then
Zuko and his grandfather.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the fact that they're chasing him and everything. So yeah, that's
the
where
grandfather.
That's kind of where my mind went a little bit.
When you get way deeper into One Piece, that similarity is gonna get farther apart. It's not as bad as like Zuko and his father or nothing like that at all. There's a hell of a lot more love, but Admiral Garp is a different kind of relative than you've seen in like other shows. Like he has some way far from here, like 400 or 500 episodes into the anime. He has to make a very tough decision that's not a love decision, but understood decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I found myself every time a new character got introduced, I found myself like in the midst of watching, I would go on YouTube and like Google or search up a scene from the actual anime. Just to kind of see like the similarities and the differences, but also more so
exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but also more so to see how on point the designs were. And I gotta say the casting is phenomenal in terms of like the depiction and the look of these characters. They all resemble that. A lot of them resemble that of the anime, which I give props to. And even in terms of like some of the fight scenes, I didn't delve too deep into a lot of the anime fights because at some point, if I ever do decide I want to go and watch the anime, I don't want it to be like I want to get like a different, like a fresh pair of eyes and not just like a full on comparison between the live action and the anime without any actual context from the anime. So
yeah, I didn't watch the anime. I looked at the manga / anime stills of each of the characters just to like kind of see like, but like I agree with you. Like yes, the cosplay element is there, but at the same time, if you're going to do authentic, like
go all out.
I don't know how you can make them look non-cosplay. Just like Maybot's saying.
The thing I like about it is that they didn't shy away. They leaned in. They respected it, and even when it didn't work, they didn't shy. They just stuck with it, right? And it's like, okay, if you're a big fan, because like Oda knows this is for the fans. We're not making this for a bunch of people who've never seen it as the primary people. Many people will watch it, like you two have never seen it and can fall in love with it or not fall in love with it, but fall in love with it because it's what it is, not because you just invented a whole different show. And then when you want to go watch the anime, it's a completely different show and you don't like it.
Yeah.
I keep interrupting. I'm just so excited about this show.
No, I mean, I'm digging it. I never thought I didn't think I would, just because I was like, yeah, pirates aren't really my jam. Like I haven't liked pirates since like Robin Williams was in Hook. So yeah, I mean,
not even Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, I only saw the first one. I'm not.
And you didn't like it.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just like for me, it was like you've seen one, you've seen them all, kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, I mean,
okay.
I'm cool on the whole pirates thing. But then this has a combination of everything in a sense. So it's like this dude's a samurai. The other, like, you know, this guy's a pirate with like weird ass stretchy powers. Like it's strange and bizarre, but once you kind of like delve into the world and you understand what everything is, you're kind of like, okay, I'm on board, I'm with it, and it piques your curiosity, and you're like, yeah, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah. And by the way, that's rubber, to be specific, and that matters. And there's like a villain he fights later on where being rubber matters a lot. Think of these powers and the way that they're structured to be an origin or the inspiration for My Hero Academia, where they would take like very simple ideas and then show you how that power could be really, really powerful. In MHA, these guys have been doing it for obviously many, many years before, and it's very, very similar at times where you'll have like the dumbest power and then you'll be like amazed by what you can do with that power and how deadly or how versatile a power is to fight against. So it comes down to the imagination.
Oh, okay. So like Maybot brought up a question that I was literally about to ask you, T. Maybot says the sets were so good. What did you think of the sets?
I liked them. I thought the sets were really well done. Nothing really stood out in terms of and I mean that in a good way of like it being distracting. Like everything just seemed to blend really well together, and it like you get immersed in the world and you believe in it, and like nothing feels off or fake about it. So yeah, I really enjoyed how all the set pieces were done.
So 2 final follow-up questions. What would you rate the series so far that you've seen, and would you recommend it for someone else? I'm
like nervously like looking at Darcy because I know he's like, yo, hey, anything lower than an 8, bro, like our friendship is over.
What are we talking about? By the way, my kunai is.
So as the story has progressed, I'm leaning more towards an 8.
I would agree.
We still friends? We still cool? We good?
No. We good because to give you a little context, when I was in the first episode or two, I was at a 6.5.
Yeah, same.
And then by the time I got to the very end, I was like an 8.5. And also because I did a really good job of how they finished the season, in my opinion, because I had like my own opinions of how I would have ended it, and then they surprised me with a couple things. And And there's a particular moment in this the last arc that they talk about in the last couple episodes is Arlong Park, and there's a very monumental moment in Arlong Park that cements the what the show, like all of the everything that the show emotionally is ever going to encompass, everything from laughter to an actually deep emotional moment. And then the show is always balancing between those two things really, really well. And you never get a really good emotional moment up until the Arlong Park one. You actually get one before with Sanji's background, but you get a way more impressive one, way more deeper one in Arlong Park. And then you'll get a real good feel for everything the show has. And generally, that's the moment where it makes the show better for everybody. So when you see the moment in Arlong Park, I mean, you should be able to figure it out. And yeah, and so then you'll have a real good feel for where it is, and likely it'll make the show better for you than where it is now.
Well, where I left off was pretty dope. It like two characters go toe to toe, and this character just gets like he gets dealt with. Like it's
yeah. You're talking about the mini blade.
Oh, that was so disrespectful, y'all. I was like, oh no, he didn't.
yeah. You think as though, dude, that was all that he needed.
Bro, when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, that's so disrespectful, man.
Oh, wow. You know what though? There's so much disrespect. Like I'm watching stuff right now, and in Dressrosa arc, and there's just like one of my favorite things about Luffy. He's such an idiot all the damn time. I was saying Umar stuff, but like one thing I saw was like Luffy never pays attention to people, so people will explain. Like he's like, oh, do you want me to explain to you who I think is gonna win this? Like they're having a battle royale. And he's like, who you think is gonna win? The guy goes through this list of like 7 people, explains all this, gives all this backstory. And he goes, Could you say that all over again? the guy just like, what the? Like, he's so mad. I'm like, oh, it's so fucking good though. Yeah. Anyways,
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing whatever you guys just talked about because
it'll be in the next episode for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn, I wish I saw that. Just bringing up the fact Maybot was talking about like the casting from her perspective. She's like, not my Garp, not my Shanks. And what the fuck? I was looking for Usopp, but we got Bruno Mars.
I'm okay. I'm okay with Usopp. I enjoy Usopp. I'm just gonna like my opinions back on that. Yep. Shanks doesn't bother me. It's a little bit different, but I also trying to respect the idea that they're probably adapting the English characters and not the Japanese characters, and there's going to be naturally different because I've seen just even the clips of the English, and I'm like, it's not the same like tone, the way the actors act. But Garps is the one that like I have to keep reminding myself who he is because he's just such a smaller man. Buggy though, I loved Buggy. Buggy is on point for me. Like, yeah, he's so good. And he's not a character that like completely disappears from the show. He comes back every so often, and he's just hilarious and pathetic.
Okay. So for me, I would say that I started at a 6 with the show, and I'm at like a 7.5, 7.8, but like I know it's going to keep going higher because the show now this you could argue that I have Stockholm syndrome, but like the show is increasing the more I watch it because I'm getting into the characters, I'm getting into the story, I'm interested in seeing where this is going. So like, yeah, like it's weird. You can't watch this and think, okay, well, I need to like review it from an objective standpoint, because if you're intending to critique it objectively, you have to view it as the way it's meant to be viewed, which is it's weird as fuck. The acting, I will say, sometimes throws me off, but at the same time, if someone told me how to, like, this is the scene we're doing and this is what you have to do, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna like do some of these scenes. And so like I'm like, yeah, okay, like I do it this way too. The fighting at times, like I find the angle work trying to be too much anime. Like from the anime, because like when I look at like some of the screen grabs, you can see that the visual, like the cinematography, is meant to take from the perspective that they had in the anime. or from the panels of the manga. And so I kind of respect that. I don't want to be too against it. But especially the fights with Zoro, the actor, and one thing I found interesting, like the actors are doing the fight sequences. Like they don't have stunt doubles. And that makes me kind of respect it more. Like I'm like, hey, like I don't care how much time I had to prep for this. If my fight sequence, let's say the three of us decide to do like a lightsaber battle between the three of us, and choreograph it, film it, and like put it on TV. I hope it looks as good as this stuff.
The three swords is badass for sure.
That
three swords is dope. You know what's even doper? Then the actor for Zoro has done many anime or live action adaptations, and not all of them have worked. The show's not him.
Not his fault.
What's really dope though is Sanji, right? So obviously he's actually a French guy, but I should watch episode 6. God damn it! So Sanji, he is a fighter who only fights with his feet, right? Just for context, Umar, you'll get into this later.
Cool.
He picked up kickboxing and like jiu-jitsu or something like that for the show, and he's also a chef on the show. So he actually went to culinary school, became a chef, and cooked for the actual cast.
Oh wow!
Yo, okay.
So all of his scenes where he's cooking, he's actually cooking it.
Yo,
so
that's dope.
The bluefin dish that he makes, he made that in one of the like interviews where they set up like a thing on the ship and they're like interviewing the cast. He cooked it again for them and was talking how it was a simple dish, right? And he's like when you see him cooking, it's like this man literally learned to cook. It's not like it's a skill that's gonna go away, so it's like might as well pick it up. It's like he might never do
kickboxing. That's gonna work in his favor.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you're never doing kickboxing again for the rest of your life, but you'll definitely cook, right? So I'm like the fact, and the actor Nami, she's the biggest weeb on the whole cast. She's heavy weeb.
Apparently she's the one that the cast would like ask her questions, like fellow cast members would ask her questions on. So let me put it this way: what I'm watching, what I've learned, during watching this series makes me respect the show so much more. Like I haven't watched One Piece. I haven't read One Piece. I know of Ichiro Oda, the writer, by reputation only, and I give him I gave him respect for like having a show that's lasted this for 25 years. Hearing Darcy and Maybot and a few other people talk about One Piece made me respect him more, just on principle. Then I found out that he's involved with the Netflix. Then I found out that he's like given his consent. Then I hear that he's actually been a consultant. Then I find out that he's actually telling people do some reshoots. And then I find out that this show has been getting like the top anime adaptation out of not that was like a significant large number of things to like beat, but it's a feat none of itself. So already Oda, I'm respecting like just on principle. I then start finding out about the people behind the scenes. I then start finding out about the actors and like what they did for this role. I then find out that like Oda is like doing multicultural casting because that's what he believes it would be like in this world. Again, all respect. Then I start watching this stuff, and yeah, it's weird as fuck. Yes, there are a lot of references that I know are going right over my head. It's like I finally know what other people feel like when they watch like superhero stuff, and I'm like, yo, what do you think? And they're like, I feel like I'm missing something. And it's like, yes. So yeah. I'm in that situation right now. Not the greatest feeling at the same time, because it does make me want to watch the anime, but at the same time, I'm still scared of 1,075 episodes, man.
It's not about catching up. Because like there's okay, you finish your point, and I have something I want to say, something that Tactix said earlier. It's gonna go back to your point, but finish your point.
Okay, I'm gonna make a momentary statement. I love the fact that Tactix and I are the people who don't know, and Darcy knows everything. It's like a complete role reversal, and I'm digging it right now. Also, massive street cred to you, Darcy. Anyway, so basically, whatever I find out about the series behind the scenes makes me respect and want to keep watching irrespective of what I'm watching. When I'm watching, yes, there are times I'm like, this is weird as fuck, but I'm still here, and not because someone's got a gun to my head. Darcy, I know, we all joking aside, I know you're not going to stop talking to me if I don't watch the show. But at the same time, I'm watching the show not because of fear of that, but because, I just need to see I'll just keep going for a little bit longer. And I'm like halfway through the season right now. I'm like, I'm pretty much going to like end the series. So if like I'm giving it a 7.8 because there's a lot of respect I have for this series. And because I'm also enjoying it. It's weird as fuck. There's some weird acting stuff happening. There's some weird cosplay stuff happening. But at the same time, what are you like? For anyone who says to me, yo, man, this looks like cosplay, and I'm watching it, I'm like, how would you make it look different? What would you do different?
Yeah. And at one point, does it just become a completely different story?
Exactly. So for me, if I'm going to suggest,
if you think this is weird, you have no idea how much weirder this show gets. I mean, I'm in like a Toy Story land right now, okay? like Dressrosa has literally toys walking around as full-on people. like every island. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You finish your point.
Basically, what is I'm going to final say is like I've given my rating, but like I asked the Tactix, and I want to come back to you after I give my answer. Would I recommend this to someone else? My answer would be guardedly, because I'll be like, yo, are you into weird shit? And they'll be like, no. I need like a simple story. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Okay.
But if someone is saying, hey, I don't know if I want to get into like anime or not, I'll be like, watch this. Other people are like, I like wacky stuff. I'll be like, watch this. First of all, I am glad that this is #1 breaking records on Netflix. And I would watch it just to support this series based off what I've learned. But I actually enjoy watching it. So, T, would you like recommend this to someone else? And
No.
Don't mind me as I like.
No. But I say that with a small caveat. Like, I don't know anyone outside of you two that I could recommend this to that would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Like, you guys are the only geeky friends that I know, aside from like maybe
Your
Matt,
cuz?
that would be interested in it, and maybe Kevin. But I'm sure they're already watching it, so I don't know who else I'd
What
be
about
able
your
to
girl?
recommend this to, and they'd be like, yeah, I'm
Umar,
about that.
Chill.
No. I just want to see his reaction when I said that.
Yeah, no.
Not so your lady wouldn't be into it?
100% no. Bro, she wouldn't even get to the point where they show the snails before she turned this off.
Yeah, not happening. Not happening. No. Like you have many other animes to get to before that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me make my point that I've been dying to make.
Jump on it.
So, Taxes, you made a point earlier about you like not being into pirates, and I had a long time where I've heard about One Piece, and I was like, why would I watch an anime about pirates? That's weird, right? But here's the thing that I've learned probably 100 episodes in is it being a pirate-based show is the best way to tell the kind of story that this is. One, it's a story about people choosing freedom against an oppressive government as one part of it, right? And pirates represent that. But the reason that it makes it so good is because the show doesn't want to take itself serious. It wants to do many adventures, and it wants to be able to make every adventure unique and push whatever boundary Oda has imagined. He wants to bring in something like toys. He wants to bring in fish people. He wants to bring in the concept of like being in the sky in the clouds. Yeah, wait till you get to Skypiea. He wants to bring in crazy ideas, and he just wants to have fun with those ideas. Then being on a boat that travels from one place to another is an amazing way to do it. And traveling on a boat is always a long journey. And the story isn't about getting to a battle quickly. It's about the journey with your friends towards achieving your dreams. And what better way than having pirates who are free to go after their dreams on a ship together? And all the beautiful places they go to, if you actually look them up, they all, or most of them, the major buildings and stuff like that, and the arts and the people are adaptations of many cultures put into one. The place we're at right now is adapting Spanish culture with Greek culture, with French culture, and a little all in one place. There was one whole place they went to called Seven that was just basically Italy, right? But like reimagined, right? And but then the place might be Italy, but the people might be from a completely different culture. There was like one, I don't know which part, but it was like one like Arab nation like that they went to, and it was like adapting a whole bunch of stuff from that. Like they just have all these different types of things, like all these different types of religions and faiths and stuff like that. They find a way to like bring them in, but they're not the same thing. They're not trying to be, right? The fish people are clearly an adaptation of black people and slavery, right? And it's just you'll learn more a lot. Like the fish people are all slaves, and like that's why you haven't even got to that part. I'm like gonna get ahead of myself, but you haven't even seen the fish people.
No, not yet.
Yeah, you don't even know how weird this show is. Wait till you see the fish people last couple episodes. You gonna know how weird this show is. When I say fish people, it's fish people.
But I can't wait for us to do a full season review now.
So to that point, Darcy, and you make a really excellent point, and it made me realize another important element as to why I love this show, and it's because it reminds me, excuse me, of have you guys ever read the book The Alchemist?
I'm reading it now.
Oh yes, okay, of course. So when you finish reading that, you're going to realize that there's a lot of similarities, and obviously not.
I've already started noticing it,
but yeah, because Luffy reminds me of the main character in The Alchemist in the sense that he's got this delusional determination and will to succeed and basically achieve his ultimate goal, or in the case of The Alchemist, your own personal legend. And in essence, that the story of The Alchemist is all about, having a personal goal or a personal legend, but also enjoying the journey along the way and having the adventures and embracing those adventures and those challenges along your journey, right? And that's essentially what this show is all about, right? It's about, you have a set destination, but you're enjoying the process of getting there by meeting new people and having these experiences and keeping that like that Luffy energy where he's got such charisma and he's like nothing can shake this guy. Yeah, and like absolute faith and determination and will in what he's doing. And there's something very endearing about that you almost see yourself in Luffy in a lot of ways, and it's very motivating.
And also, like on that point, because like I did actually pick up on that because I'm like about halfway through The Alchemist right now, and I mean, bless Luffy, but like Darcy says, my boy's an idiot. But like he and like the main character in The Alchemist isn't a fool, but they do have this level of they have the goal, they want to achieve the goal. They of course have setbacks, but their faith now Luffy's faith is in himself and his capabilities. The Alchemist's main protagonist has faith, but also is determined. And granted, I'm only halfway through the book, so that could also change. So, and also having the guidance of those who then give them that gives them strength to keep going forward. Because the protagonist of The Alchemist has, one could say, someone direct him towards his goal. Luffy is, as so far, but through Shanks and through Garp, I'm assuming, because I haven't got that part yet, but like he's also had that level of it back too. So like it's interesting to see how you could make the argument that this is just a cartoon live action adaptation of a shonen, which of course has archetypes, as we're discussing, about someone who wants to achieve something. Like, I want to become king, I want to be the pirate king, I want to be the wizard king, I want to be the Hokage, I want to be the greatest Pokemon collector or whatever. But there is hidden depth sprinkled throughout, and you can see with each of the characters there's care being done on how the characters do what they do.
Oh, Oda cares about his characters. He cares about the side characters you don't think you're going to care about, and then makes them
Yes.
into characters you care about. He really cares about his cast in all capacity. And I like when you say delusional, and Maybot put up this point about delusional. You take that back, which is that when people have a dream, like Luffy, and they're willing to die for their dream to achieve it, to the average person who gives up on their dreams, they look delusional. But
Yes.
to themselves, it is not a delusion. It is the way
No.
that they live.
So
And that's kind of what
so
was
yeah,
the,
I wanted
the
to
Alchemist. Yeah, the Alchemist is kind of making that differentiation, which I think Tactix
So-
is going to clarify.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say in regards to that, I don't mean delusional in a negative sense by any means. I mean, there is a certain level of delusion in terms of wanting to be the greatest, or in terms of your goal, but that in and of itself is what it takes to achieve greatness. You have to have a certain level of delusion, in a sense of like, obviously you're not thinking of it in a negative sense, but you have to almost be have insane faith in your abilities in order to achieve that, to say, oh, I'm going to be the greatest ever. Well, that might not be an actual reality, but the fact that you still believe it is what sets you on the path and motivates you and drives you to actually go out and achieve that. So that's what I mean by like delusional determination.
Yeah.
I hear that. Okay, so before we move on, I do want to say one last thing. Maybot, how she puts, I love how passionate you are, which I'm assuming she's referring to Darcy. Amen. Bro, it's dope to finally be able to, on some level, join you in your love for the show, because like, the absolute number scared the crap out of me, but like the fact that this anime adaptation is as good it is, and also that I'm learning as much as I am about the characters that you love and enjoy so much, it makes me feel good to be able to join in the love with you, man.
Yeah, and honestly, don't be afraid of it, because it's about an adventure. As like Luffy said in this like recent episode where he was about to go onto this island, everyone's all like freaking about the plan. Luffy, every time he goes to him, it's just like, it looks like an adventure, and he just willingly just throws himself in with no plan, no idea, and just gets into trouble and always gets himself out of it and solves stuff because he's just looking for an adventure. And the beauty of this is that it's not meant to be fast. Don't go into this being like, oh, it's too many episodes. No, it is an adventure that will last a long time, and that's the beautiful part of watching it.
Delusional determination.
Yeah, the description you just gave about Luffy and about like One Piece in general, the fact that we can compare it to a book as deep and nuanced as The Alchemist is a testament to both in a way.
It gets a lot deeper and a lot more nuanced, and yet at the same time, we'll turn around 2 seconds later and make you laugh over the stupidest thing. Like it'll get so deep, and then it'll be like, yeah, we've taken too much time. Let's go back and have some fun.
like the video you sent me the other day. It was today. Actually, like, it's like Luffy's like, hey, you have to like put your name down, but like make it a pseudonym. So he's like, my name is Lou, and the guy like hits him over the head. It's like, stop giving your actual name. He's like, so they name him Lucy because he already had written down Lu, and it's like, oh my god. Anyway, but
he's so silly.
Yeah, moving on to our final topic. So, episode 5 of Ahsoka, the Star Wars TV series Ahsoka, was released on Wednesday, and let's just say that the reason why we're reviewing it like halfway through is because episode 4 and episode 5, which is like halfway and just past halfway, has taken the internet by storm. I cannot go through Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube without like blops of people just talking about this series. So like, yes, the show is not over yet, but we might as well oh, sorry, Maybot. She's like, no, I'm driving. I need to talk about this with you all. Ha ha ha. Sorry. Anyway, so Ahsoka, episode 4 and 5 have been released. Spoilers for people who haven't watched episode 4 or 5 yet may want to just like mute right now. But you've been warned. But Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen makes his return as Anakin Skywalker. And also, we are further along in this series, watching a whole new set of Dark Jedi that have shown up, played by Ray Stevenson, who, yes, he's passed away, and yes, it's sad, but my man did a great last performance, and I'm just happy that his memory is getting the respect for his acting capabilities. But T, we know you haven't watched Ahsoka. Sorry to leave you out, but hopefully this will make you want to watch Ahsoka. If not, cool.
Yo, my internet is tripping. I don't know if you saw my private message, but
I did.
I didn't hear a word you just said.
Cool. So cool. Anyway, so moving on to the review. Darcy, it's not like I can start with Tactix. What do you think so far of this season, or sorry, this show?
Oh, I'm gonna need a minute. Pass it back to Tactix.
Okay.
I'm just messing. Obviously, you said we couldn't start with them, so I just wanted to make it happen. So I'm a folk. Overall, the show, I've been enjoying it. And I know, Umar, you've had some rough patches with it. For me, it's been the first thing, and I call it core Star Wars, things that are related to the Skywalkers. It's been the first thing in a long time related to the core part of Star Wars that I've actually enjoyed. I've been not so pleased with the last 3 movies. And the things that I've been most pleased with is always been Clone Wars, Rebels. Stuff that Dave Filoni is on is the stuff I enjoy the most, because he does a good job of giving us the essence and the core, what is Star Wars, yet at the same time I found his stuff more palatable in the way that he did it, right? And so this to me has been enjoyable. This last episode, where we see a lot of Anakin come back, and the dynamic between him and Ahsoka in this very spiritual world, where she needs to learn a lesson. Yeah, what's that?
Plane of existence. Not
yeah,
so
plane
much
of
a world.
existence. Yeah, I couldn't get the right words. I just went with world. Was really special. It was really good to see Hayden Christensen finally get the love, and to get him see him play multiple variations of himself. We got to see him do multiple variations of what was animated in the Clone Wars, and for him to very clearly have been watched the Clone Wars to know how to act out these different versions, which is the better version of Anakin than what we got in the actual movies. And then also get to see him play Darth Vader vibes as well, and just the different levels. And then we got to see Ahsoka, and respect to this actor who came in to play child Ahsoka, and did.
You know who she is?
No, bro, she's in a full makeup mode.
She was Gamora in Infinity War, child Gamora.
Yes, that's why she feels familiar.
Yes,
and
I know you guys
makeup. Yeah.
Yes, I know you guys haven't seen Barbie yet, but also she played the daughter in Barbie, and she did a good job in that too. So whoever her agent is, this agent should be praised.
Yeah, doing a good job. Yeah, it was just really, really beautiful to see that. I can see why this was put into theaters, and it was very much put in theaters because yes, it's an epic moment. But I think Dave Filoni put it in theaters to give a certain level of respect back to Hayden, as hey, I can't really release a movie to rectify sins of the past, but I'm gonna put this in theaters so it's like a movie moment to pay respect to you and everything. And yeah, I hope we get to see more Hayden play different stuff, where it's obviously appropriate and fits in and whatnot. Not that there's a lot of opportunities for that, but if this was the last big hurrah, then that was amazing. And but yeah, no, I'm just really enjoying it. And what I really also like is that this story is expanding literally the universe by going to another galaxy, and it really sets up a really beautiful opportunity to say look, there's the Luke Skywalker, the Skywalker story in this galaxy, But when we're in this galaxy, and it could be a whole bunch of new stories, and we can set up a history in this galaxy that doesn't exist in the other ones. We could tell stories with characters that aren't tied to anything, because clearly no one in this galaxy has ever been to this other galaxy, or the vast majority of the characters. And so it's setting up a good way that I think Filoni is trying to expand, so that they can grow Star Wars without having to be like, and we're just going to make 3 more movies that are just the same fucking story as every other freaking Star Wars story we've ever gotten, with just different characters. And oh, by the way, they're all connected back to the original characters, and it just keeps repeating itself. This way we can go off, we can do something, and we can have less fight over, well, this doesn't fit this and this other thing. Well, no, this is a different galaxy. All these stories are different. So I'm excited to see where things are going, and I'm enjoying myself.
Okay. Before I say something, I'm just going to put up Maybot's comment. She's like, we've never seen an upbeat Anakin. It was fantastic. And then she said, also, the duality they showed between Anakin and Vader was clean as fuck. When they're in the vision with the smoke, or in the world between worlds where he is stomping, Also, she says, yes, we want wild space. Using this, okay, I will start with the most recent episode. Actually, let me put it this way. This season, like Darcy is saying, I've been having issues with this series. Predominantly I find the pacing and the dialogue delivery to be incredibly slow, and almost like parts of it in every episode. I find the acting overall is good, but like the acting for the main cast feels very subdued. It gets less and less subdued as each episode progresses. Thank God for that. But like the first episode was like painfully slow, and also everyone just felt like they were just like reading lines as opposed to acting. But in this past one, it felt the most alive. Now, the green girl who plays Hera, it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead who plays her. She has not improved from the first episode to the last. I don't know what's going on, because she's a really good actress. But like for me, I will say that the main cast is getting better, and I'm enjoying it, but I still have problems. And also, the narrative, while predominantly I'm enjoying it, the narrative bothers me in the sense that Sabine, who is the Mandalorian / Ahsoka's Padawan, the narrative only can progress by her being a complete idiot, and not like a fun idiot like Luffy. I mean, like what the fuck are you doing? Like, did someone hit you over the head sort of idiot? So that's not a lot of fun. However, Hayden Christensen came back well. Like, we were talking about this in Obi-Wan. Like the last 20 years, my man definitely is say what you want about his acting skills before he took a hiatus, but the fact that he's been given a good script and good direction, you can see he is doing a really good job. And we now can see what he could have been 20 years ago if George Lucas wasn't the one directing and writing him. Him as going between Anakin Skywalker from Clone Wars to Darth Vader without the costume. And I will say it's interesting to see what I never thought about before. We finally got to see what Darth Vader would have looked like and been like had he never been injured.
Yeah.
And that was dope as fuck.
Yeah. That is intimidating. Like,
yes.
Because it's like you got to see remain with the agility, but the power.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have been a real monster. However, I wonder if he would have been as brutal to people, considering having that pain while in that suit would make you maybe be a lot more difficult of a person versus, I don't know, but I mean, those red eyes though. And like, I will say that the spiritual journey that or a character journey that Ahsoka goes through in the last episode was, I enjoyed the fact that they brought that level of depth in. I am really excited to see Thrawn. Really he just keeps getting tease and tease. I just want to see him because, like, come on now. But Ray Stevenson is doing a really good job as a antagonist who is not necessarily evil. He's nuanced. He's layered. He's oddly
kind.
Mm.
And so having that as your main antagonist is interesting. Yes, Maybot, Ahsoka the White, hilarious. And also, Maybot says Sabine, Hera, and Jason are all cringe. I completely agree. But overall, I'm not going to say this is a bad series. Yes, there's some weird things here. There are some odd narrative choices that are there. But the fights, like the lightsaber fights, are dope. Tactics for someone who likes the lightsaber shit. This show is for you. I will say there are some spiritual elements and training in the Force that you would also find very fascinating. In my opinion, if you liked Obi-Wan, you would like this. Is he still frozen, or he's smiling? Never mind. I can see him trying not to smile. All right, so ultimately, I would say that I'm here to watch the rest of the series. I do have some frustrations. I am wanting to have less critical eye and be more on your side, Darcy, because I don't like having these criticisms. I don't want to have them, but they're glaringly obvious for me, which is making me harder to enjoy. Like my sister and my buddy Dan are just like, dude, shut up. I'm like, fair.
Yeah, shut up. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I will say that I would still recommend the show. I am enjoying it. I may lose my freaking mind once I see Thrawn, and like I've already, like Darcy and I have already like had like an entire like fanboy geek fest of what like he could be, what they could be, what could happen. I think also I'm starting to realize I might be in love with Thrawn, so like there's that also. But like I said that mostly to see that face from you, Darcy. T, your standard lack of emotion worries me a little bit of what you think of me as a person, but but anyway, I will say that Maybot Thrawn is daddy.
Just call him Thratty.
Oh. Anyway, yeah. So I will say that this is something for you guys to watch. If nothing else, watch the last episode 5, because in and of itself, it's pretty good Star Wars story.
Yeah, it was shot and done in such a way that it felt like even if you didn't have all the context, the story of itself would. That's why you could put it in theaters by itself, and you could watch it by itself. It was done in a way where you're like, okay, I'm not going to fully understand everything, but that's not the core of the story.
Exactly, and I think they even did a scene where it's like they're talking about stuff that happens to Rebels, and a character is like, wait, what is that? And they gave like a very, very quick summary, and he's like, whatever, okay, and then like carries on. So like they're essentially saying for you guys to do the same thing. Oh. All right, so all right, T, I'm going to volley it to you for our closing remarks.
Alrighty. Well, this has been another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in or listening wherever you are. Please be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe if you love us. Even if you don't love us, just like the shit, man, because what else? You got nothing better to do. Just like us, man. Let us get to like 1,000 subscribers, 1,000,000 subscribers. Do that shit, man. Please. All right.
We appreciate the 121.
Let's put this show on the map. Let's be the next John Campea. All right. Well, okay, that might be aiming a little too high, but delusional determination, right, guys?
I like it. I like it right there.
Okay. So anyway, I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week. Live long and prosper, y'all.
Also, hashtag Umar and Thratty.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you would be.
Thratty.